live via Facebook streaming, YouTube streaming, and also via Skype. Each one of you is welcome to this live streaming from our studios in Trinidad. Cosmic Orgasm through Tantra. In one way, cosmic orgasm is enlightenment, is awakening. Before we go into certain questions, there are certain points that need to be clarified and understood, because understanding those will help you more to understand Tantra, understand orgasm, because you know it in one way. Orgasm refers to a state of oneness within. There is no conflict. There is no division of the current or energies. It is like two separate bulbs lighting. Each bulb has its positive current and the negative current. You can call it a male bulb. So it is ready to share its illumination, its light. And then there is another bulb which also works at the same principle. It has harmonized its positive and negative current. There is illumination. These two positive and negative current in each bulb are not in conflict with one another. They are complementary to one another. So these two bulbs, one you can call as male, the other you can call it as female. So if the male one bulb is lighting on its own, there will be less illumination in the room. If the two bulbs are lit in the room simultaneously, the illumination, the light will be more. This is a very simple example. So when two people enter into act of sex, they are supposed to be like two bulbs, but it happens one bulb is lit, the other bulb is flickering, or its life is going. It comes for a moment, goes out. This is what happens when two people are in the act. So one moment the one is there, the other has disappeared, has gone somewhere else, shopping or somewhere else, or the light is flickering. The illumination is not total. The oneness is not there. This is what happens. So orgasm refers to a state of, first of all, your bulb is lit. And how does this happen? In case of a person, there are positive and negative sides of the brains. When they are in harmony with one another, there is illumination. That illumination is known as bliss or harmony. The same thing applies with the other. In the beginning, it was said there was God, there was Word, and the Word was God. Hindus say there was an unheard sound that continues to reverberate in the existence, oneness. When this broke into, divided into two first, two complementaries, two got divided into three, and this is how the process of creation happened. Process of creation happened. Now, in order to reach to the state of cosmic orgasm, this process has to be reversed. The multiple has to become 3, 3 has to become 2, and 2 has to become 1. So, orgasm means the process that you have to start from you are many minds, many thoughts, many emotions, many conditionings. So you are deleting. When you look at the possibility, you are working on a project, there are many options available. So you start deleting one by one. This is known as the process of logic. If you have to give an answer, for example, it was said the Nobel Prize was in certain disciplines, but it was not in the field of economic science. It was started in 1968 by the central bank of a country. This is the question. The options are Norway, Sweden, Denmark, United Kingdom. So out of these, one is right. So you use your logic, you remove, it cannot be Norway for your own reasons, and slowly you delete, reduce the number of options. Then you say that Nobel Prize is given by the royal family in Sweden. So it must be something, and it was started in the memory of Alfred Nobel. It is known as Alfred Memorial Nobel Prize, instituted in 1968 by the central bank of a country. What is the country? So in any situation, there are many options available. Using your logic, you start deleting that. The same process happens. We have this thought, that thought, you delete the thought that at the moment I am going into a relationship or going into the act of sex. That time only feelings are necessary, no thoughts, no emotions, no conditions, nothing. Otherwise, you will miss the opportunity. If you have to go to a flight, you will delete all the options that you are not going to do this and that. If you have to answer the calls, or if you have to do any particular dish or something, so you remove all the possibilities. The only thing your focus is on getting your suitcase ready and reach the airport. So all the possibilities you remove, and ultimately your logic will tell it was the central bank of Sweden, because it was the prizes given by the royal family, the royalty of Sweden. So it has to be, this is the process. So from many you come to 3, from 3 to 2, and 2 to 1. The moment you attain to oneness in anything, you have attained to orgasmic state. It is a very comprehensive word, but we have given it a very limited use in relation to sex. You are going to make a particular dish, or you are working on a project. So there are many possibilities, many options. You start deleting through the logic one by one all the options, and you reach to the correct project which is approved. So this is the process that we have to go through. Life is based on duality. morality, immorality, left and right, good and bad, inner and outer. This is how life moves. I will take a simple example. You want to reach somewhere, you walking is one of the way. You start walking, but you cannot walk without the feet. Can you walk on one feet? You will be simply hopping, and you will do not, nobody knows when you will reach to your destination. Your destination in life is to attain oneness, orgasmic oneness. All orgasmic means all the organs, all the components have fused into one another and they have become one. And there is oneness. Nothing is pulling, there is no tug of war. All the components, when all the components, all the ingredients, all the different spices are blended together into oneness, we get a dish. What you, in the language of Tantra, we can say this is an orgasmic dish, because all the elements, the different spices, when the spice blend was made with turmeric, coriander, chili powder, aromatic spices, nutmeg, mace, cinnamon, clove, all these things. Then to that you add tomato paste, fresh tomatoes, onion, garlic, ginger. Now none of these things are visible in it, but all of them have fused their taste into it, and then you are making any vegetable, maybe paneer or meat or anything. So all these blended spices are infused into the particular, the vegetable or the meat item, and you get an orgasmic dish. Can't you call it an orgasmic dish? Which through your efforts and all the elements have fused in their qualities, one enhances the other. For instance, coriander enhances the energy level. Turmeric is vitamin B complex. And then certain things, there are nutrients, there are certain things which give a taste. So all these things are put together. So when you are in a state of sex, there are certain things which are basic, which has to be blended. Certain things which you do, which gives another gist or flip to the act or to the final product. So for walking, you need 2 feet. You cannot walk on 1 feet. So you move 1 foot forward and then the second foot and the right foot. And when 1 foot is moving, the other foot becomes a stationary, and the process goes on. One becomes stationary, the other moves, and this is how you cover a distance. You cannot move 2 feet simultaneously. It has to be alternate. Even when we are doing march past, it is left foot is placed forward, because left side of the body controls or manages the right side of the brain. Right side is love, emotions, and those kind of attributes. So that time the right foot is stationary. You are not bothered about the right foot or right left, because when you have reached the destination, you do not worry about that. It is only to cover the distance you use 2 feet in a sequential order. And when you have reached the destination where you have to reach, you don't have to worry about anything. In the same way, There are people who are always in conflict, whether it is outer or inner. Why the 2 feet is necessary? They are necessary for walking, and walking is necessary. Walking is necessary to reach the distance. What is the destination in life? On a day-to-day basis, we know that we have to go to work, we have to perform so many other things. So we need to walk for that, we need to work for that. 2 feet are necessary, and they go simultaneously left and right. So when we are journeying in life, and why do we journey in life? It is what transcendence. There is a life that you know, it is a life of conflict, life of the duality, where there is good and bad, flowers and thorns, day and night, life and death. Death is the shadow of life, and life is the shadow of death. So these things, this is the life that you have known. Beyond this, there is another life which is known as Maha life or life eternal, where there is no conflict, where there is the no duality, where there are no thorns on the flowers, where there is, this is beyond. It's not that there thorns and flowers are there. The moment you go beyond the flowers and thorns, you are neither bothered about the flowers nor thorns. You understand the thorns already are there to protect the flowers, and together they add beauty. In the same way, the day and night are important, because the day you work, in the night you rest, and all this. So you go beyond, and that beyond is a life of bliss, beyond conflict or duality. And in that, when you go beyond that, what is that called? Orgasmic state. You can call it nirvana, you can call it moksha, you can call it fana, you can call it baka. These are the 2 stages, fana and baka. Or you can call it enlightenment, or you can call it samadhi, or any other name. No name can encompass the magnanimity of what you have reached, what you have attained. When you are in an earthquake-like tremor style of orgasms during your sex act, what you will call that? You will forget everything. You will enter in a state of timelessness. There is no ego. And when there is timelessness, when there is no ego, the tears of joy begins to overflow. The time becomes still. That is a state that you can, Zen calls it as satori, a small window through which you are seeing the orgasmic oneness. At that time, there is no thoughts, there is no emotions, nothing of that sort exists in you. If you have ever experienced that, you will know what I am talking about. This duality is no more there. The male, female, you simply want to go beyond the male and female. Orgasm is a state beyond male, female. Destination is beyond the movement of the 2 feet. What you can call, when you reach to your destination, the orgasmic end. The 2 feet worked in harmony with one another to reach somewhere. This is, you can call, transcendence of walking. When you finish a dish, it is transcendence of cooking. When you finish the act of sex, it is transcendence through sex. And when in life, on a day-to-day basis you are doing so many things, and in each state you attain to transcendence beyond the duality, then will you not be more blissful for that day? That whatever you have done, you have achieved, whatever you wanted to do, whatever you wanted to cook, whatever you want to submit a project, you wanted to prepare a project for your work, anything, you are neither male nor female during the act of sex. When orgasm happens, when that state comes, which is like earthquake of a higher Richter scale has happened, and then are followed by small tremors that continues. The earthquake has finished, the act of sex has finished, the major orgasm has finished, but the small tremors continue to happen. All of a sudden you shake like that. This is what continues to happen. When you have finished your project, when you have finished your dish, when you have finished walking, that state, the end of walking is the destination. So there is, during the act, we are so much lost in our duality, so much lost in our duality that it always becomes difficult to come out of that state. And the moment you come out of that state of duality, you are in a state of blissfulness. So we have to understand this. Tantra is no way a moral concept. The moment we say moral, then meditatively it comes in. Is it immoral? So we always think in terms of duality. Somewhere duality is necessary. But duality is important to go beyond. Just as I said, the duality of left and right feet is necessary for walking. The duality of male-female is necessary to attain to orgasmic existence. The duality of positive and negative current is necessary to have the illumination. The duality of the left and right brain is necessary to arrive at solitary decision. If the two are in, that is where many times you would have found that you were very indecisive, you don't know what to do. So that is because there was conflict and you did not understand the oneness of the two. It happens that at the moment the iPhone battery runs out, when there is a live streaming, so the streaming on YouTube is continuous, Skype is good, so it is better until this problem is rectified, you continue to watch on YouTube. And even afterwards, when the live streaming on iPhone is discontinued, you can switch over to YouTube. We always think in terms of duality, the pair of opposites. It is better to use the word pair of opposites, the right and wrong, good and bad, day and night. A complete cycle is day and night. They both unfold into one another. The head and tail of the coin, you look at the coin. Does head or tail has a separate entity? For certain purpose it does have, but if we draw a cylinder, because the coin is, you can say the opening the shape is like the opening of a cylinder. It's a passage. One end is head and the other end is tail. Both look separate, but somewhere or the other the two are connected to one another. If our vision goes to that, if we can understand that the dawn or the dusk are the 2 points where one is ending, the other has not come in. This is what happens when you are moving from one state to another, from consciousness to unconsciousness under the influence of anesthesia, because that state is necessary to perform a certain operation on you. For in the same way, just as anesthesia is given because there is a particular problem in your body that needs to be removed, abscess or whatever it may be, in order to remove that, an operation has to be performed, and for that anesthesia has to be given, and you have to be brought into a state of unconsciousness for a certain period of time so that that particular operation can be performed. In the same way, the master takes you to the state of unconsciousness where your conscious mind is not operating, and he does the operation that is needed, that is known as tavajjuh. So we prefers to work at the level of subconscious and unconscious, then it goes deeper into you, it grows, the seed is planted, and the seed begins to grow as if it is your own growth. It is not like a patchwork. It is not the plastic flower which will never give the fragrance, or it will not be delicate. So the work of the master is very deep, and sometimes it happens while you're listening to this live streaming, you doze off, you fall asleep. It is purposely the energy is created in such a way, waving with gaps in between, that at times you know that you have not fallen asleep, you are awake, you are hearing everything, but you are not hearing. This is somehow the state of anesthesia is, if you analyze deeply, consciously taking into the state where you are not feeling the pain. Pain means conflict in a way, where there is no conflict in you, and you are unconsciously in a state of harmony. And then when master plants, the soil is ready, master plants the seeds, and then it begins to grow and comes out as your own growth out of you. So when you are in a, this is in psychology, it is known as altered states of consciousness. A state has been altered into you. You had been carried in a particular state that you do not feel the pain, and the operation could be easily performed, and after that a little pain, whatever it is, for the duration it remains, and then that particular problem is erased. This is what a master is, a physician, and he does his work. We will continue this in tomorrow's session. Until then, take care and do have a pleasant day.